What's up, you bastards? Thanks for coming to hang out again, man. Don't forget, I'm your boy Joe, aka The Casual, and this is The Clinch. Cue shitty intro.
Let's look at this.
Look at the suplex here. Right on his head.
Suplex last night on his head.
Jesus Christ.
So, did you guys catch the interview with Dana? What was that, yesterday? I think it was yesterday or the day before. With Brett Okamoto. That beginning of the interview that he does every year.
What the hell did you just say?
That beginning of the interview that he does every year.
Nailed it.
He didn't really say anything, too crazy or too mind-blowing or anything like that. But nonetheless, there was a couple things that I wanted to recap on. One being, he talked a lot about McGregor, which is to be expected.
Is he fucking awesome?
But one thing that he had mentioned about McGregor, and it was more the way that he worded it, was that right now he wants McGregor to focus on MMA, and which I completely agree. And I'm sure most of you do as well. But he said he wasn't completely closed-minded to McGregor potentially fighting Pacquiao. And he definitely didn't want to do it, but he had mentioned, if that's something that McGregor wants to do, wait until next year or something.
If he wants to fight, one of these boxing guys, do that next year. That fight's always going to be there.
Which he left that an open window. It was the way he worded it was like he had a choice. Does McGregor sign one-fight deals now? I don't know. I just assumed that he was signing 3-fight deals. Do you guys know? Because I have no idea, but I have to assume that that's the case. He's signing 1-fight deals if he can just go do a boxing fight if he wants to. So you guys are going to have to fill me in on that because that was kind of intriguing to me. But another thing that Dana touched on is, he had mentioned, which I think that, a lot of people picked up on this, was that 2020, he was built for 2020, which, man, I would 100% agree. The things that man accomplished through 2020 to keep his business flowing, man, it's something to admire. Love him or hate him.
I really hate that man.
Man, the things that man did to propel the sport and to put it in front of so many different people's eyes and to capitalize on the opportunity is amazing. And what I mean by opportunity is you had all these other sports that were down. Nobody was broadcasting sports except for MMA. I'm sure there was, there might have been a couple of other ones out there, but, any major sports, MMA was the only one. And furthermore, UFC. It wasn't all of MMA. It was UFC. So that was massive for the sport. Even with everything lost through 2020 for the UFC, the amount that they gained just in that aspect is immeasurable. But another thing that I wanted to touch on, speaking of, by the way, another thing that I wanted to touch on was he touching on that actually.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop, okay? No more.
He was actually, I saw trending today. I don't know about yesterday or when the video first dropped, but he was trending. That video was trending number 20. Did you guys know that? And that was today that it was trending number 20. That's amazing. That alone goes to speak volumes for what Dana has done to keep this ship afloat. But another thing that he had mentioned, though, was he wanted McGregor. First off, McGregor and Dustin that's not going to be a title fight. If Khabib decides to vacate the title.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Dustin and McGregor ain't going to be a title fight. You know, I know that's been a lot of people were saying that. I never thought that was going to be a title fight. You know, both of them lost to Habib. They just lost it. Both of them just lost to Habib, and I think within a year of one another, I believe. But Dana mentioned that if whoever wins the Dustin and Conor fight will fight the highest ranked individual within the division, which I believe is Justin. But Justin is supposed to fight Charles. It's not set in stone. I know I mentioned that in my last video. I thought everything was set to go, but that's not the case. But that's what Dana is pushing for. So I believe that if that fight does go through, that it's probably just going to be the winner of Dustin and Conor versus the winner of Justin and Charles. That would be the most logical thing to do.
You're goddamn right.
You know, let me know if you guys agree. But then he went on to talk about the meeting with Habib, and everybody knows this. Basically, he's just going to try to talk him into staying, which, I mean, hell, we all want him to stay, you know. But so he didn't really say, you know, give any kind of astounding statements with regards to that. You know, he just basically said that, you know, I'm going to talk with him. Basically, and I like the fact that he had mentioned he said this a few times. He slid it in interviews a few times where he had mentioned, you know, Habib's father really wanted to see him go 30-0.
The difference with a guy like Habib is he's been through so much, and losing his dad was such a major blow to him. Something that they did together, yet his dad wanted him to hit 30-0.
And then he sat on it for a second. He just let it sink in. He didn't say anything after that for a couple seconds. He just said, yeah, you know, Habib's father really wanted him to go 30-0. So, you know, I mean, come on, you know what you're doing. So, what do you guys think about that, by the way? You know, do you guys think Habib's going to come back? I hope so. I think he will. And I had mentioned that before too. I think it'll be about a year or two, but I definitely think he'll come back. That 30-0 will just itch at him. So I think if he does come back, that'll most likely be the reason. But anyways, those are just a few points that I wanted to touch on real quick, man. And I'm gonna go back through the interview, see if there was anything that I missed, which I know there was. I know he touched on John Jones and Adesanya and all that. And we'll be talking about that as well. But in the meantime, keep it in the clinch, man.